The city of Atlanta has agreed to pay millions of dollars after a man died during a confrontation with a police officer last year. The family of Johnny Holloman sued the city after his death.
A traffic ticket ended with the deacon dead, and now Atlanta will pay up for it to the tune of $3.8 million. APD fired Officer Kimbrough. Since the incident, Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens says the policy has changed on how minor traffic crashes are handled, and officers are now ordered to not arrest drivers who refuse to sign tickets. With a settlement in hand, the family now wants the former officer to face criminal charges, along with a tow truck driver who they say got involved in the arrest.
March 18th of 2021. Almost a year after the city of Atlanta.
This guy is like the supervillain of this story. This guy, Lance LaRusso, I just want to publicly say, fuck you, dude. You're a piece of shit. I don't like you. And I hope that everyone else leaves this video with that impression. This guy is a asshole piece of shit. He's like the kingpin of villains in the world of accountability. This ain't ATA. I'm going to tell you how I feel about people here. And fuck this guy. You'll see why.
Atlanta almost burned to the ground. A young officer from Illinois went to school in Alabama, came to the city of Atlanta to be a cop. Why would anybody subject themselves to second guessing, being spit at, cursed at, seeing the worst that society has to offer in a city that almost destroyed 6 law enforcement officers' reputations and jailed them unlawfully? He did it because he had a heart for service. He's not a monster. He's not a person who set out on this day to injure anybody. He is a smart guy who knows exactly what the policies say. And when he got to the scene, the first thing that he saw was Mr. Holman, who's yelling, upset, won't calm down. When he got to the scene, the first thing that he saw was Mr. Holman, who's yelling, upset, won't calm down.
Just checking to see if you have any officers at 20 East on the Hamilton home.
Morning. What happened?
I had the green light, all the traffic up here. And so when I was making
1191, do we have an officer that's pulled out there?
You know, because the light was green. And I was traffic backed all the way up here. I got trying to hit me on the side right here.
Yeah, does that look like screaming, yelling, anything like that to anyone? Does it?
They were trying to...
We have our own turn here.
He hit me right here, and he went on down that way with it.
That's copy. I think all my
light was red over here.
I don't think
He wasn't that turn.
Maybe zone 4.
My light was green.
Is your car still drivable? Or is the tire messed up back there?
I don't know. If we bag up, I can see. I don't even know. Off it. And when he hit me right here, he went all the way down that way with. And I said, "You want to stop? It's red. You're like red." My light was green.
Come pull your car up right here. Come pull your car up right here.
While the cars are like this real quick, can I just kind of explain what happened from my standpoint?
Is this your car?
Yes.
I mean, I know what happened, but you can tell me. I already watched the camera what happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You said I could tell you though?
You want to?
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm making a right turn. I even saw him. So as soon as basically essentially all he did was cut it way too sharp and just ran right into my car. As a matter of fact, like you see the reason that it skirts all the way, I wasn't even going intentionally like driving at 2-3 miles per hour. And I saw the left. Like,
come on, the car's already fucked up. There you go. Come on. There you go. Turn it right in there. The accident already happened, so why are we arguing about it? You can go in your car, actually. You can go in your car. You can go in your car.
People are saying this guy's threatening me, that he's acting unreasonably and putting people in danger.
The supervillain chiming in at the perfect time, Billy. So good. He was acting so unreasonable that they couldn't even get him to move his car. People were so concerned.
All right, man. Case number for you.
He's yelling.
All right, I did find you at fault in the
That's
accident.
my fault. I was in the red light. My light was green.
Won't calm down.
You cut your turn short.
No, I didn't turn. I can't turn no white what it did. He kept coming at me. It wasn't my fault.
Why are you screaming at me?
I'm not screaming. I'm saying it was not my fault. He ran into my truck.
Okay.
Look, this is something that cops do all the time that I absolutely fucking hate. And that it's when they characterize the way someone is speaking. This man is just trying to make his case. He feels like he was wrongly put at fault during this accident. That's what he's contesting. He's not yelling. He's not being abrasive. He's just making a case for himself. He's just trying to say, I feel like you're wrong here. And that's not screaming. That's not yelling. That's not being disorderly. He's just trying to make a fucking point. And here we are. The mischaracterization. I think that that's the biggest takeaway from a lot of this, which it gets very bad. But this entire situation has just been mischaracterized from all the state actors that are involved in this from the very beginning. And that's why I think it's such a beautiful thing for Billy to take the attorney's points and interlace them with what actually happened, because it really paints the full picture.
You see right here, right here.
All right. So I need you to sign this ticket right here on the X. Okay. I'll get my sergeant for it, but you're still going to sign this ticket. That's fine. But you're going to sign this ticket right here before I get my sergeant out here. Okay? You're going to sign this ticket or I'm going to take you to jail. So you got a court date of the 4th of October, 2023 at 8 o'clock, all right? It's not a state of admission or guilt. Just saying that you plan on coming to court and paying the fine beforehand. You can come to court.
I didn't do nothing.
You can come to court and fight.
I didn't do nothing. Lord have mercy. Jesus, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing wrong.
Who are you screaming at? I told.
Again, he's not screaming. He's not directing in any kind of animosity towards anyone. He's frustrated. He was just involved in a car accident. He's an old man. Obviously, he's going to have some qualms about this situation. Generally, older people just they don't have the mental faculties that younger, more people who are in their prime are, and they can't necessarily control all of their actions. This whole characterizing this guy as if he's being somehow belligerent or angry or anything like that is just totally uncalled for.
I told you once, lower your voice.
My voice
You're
is
not,
heavy anyway.
you're
My
not
voice
going
is
to scream
heavy.
at me.
My voice is heavy.
Do you understand what I'm telling you? Now you're going to sign this ticket or I'm going to take you to jail. I suggest you sign the ticket. Then you can talk to my sergeant or whoever you want to talk to, your priest, your wife, I don't care. But you're going to sign it right here. Here you go.
Officer Kimbrough said, I watched the video of the wreck. I know what happened. And in the opening statement, the city attorney said, without giving Mr. Holman an opportunity to understand what was going on. Not true. Mr. Holman was not given an opportunity to sign the citation. Not true. 17 months after this occurred, you have not heard one iota of medical evidence that Mr. Holman's death had any connection with the decision to detain him and wait later for a supervisor to get there.
Isn't that so funny that how blatantly he can lie about this? When did this happen? March. Just over a month later, it's confirmed that it was the use of force that took this man's life. But we're getting to that.
Nothing. What you're hearing is he died, so there's got to be a problem and he's got to be punished. Well, first of all, there has to be a violation for this board to do anything.
Anything.
And what you've heard is he warned Mr. Holman. He told Mr. Holman he would be arrested if he didn't sign the ticket, which is what he's required to do. He told Mr. Holman that this was not an admission of guilt multiple times. Mr. Holman clearly was either not listening or had an altered mental status due to some sort of process going on. Listen to the tape.
Sir, I'm going to ask you one more time. Sign the ticket.
So you
sign the ticket.
You trying to make
sign
me
the
say I'm
ticket.
guilty of something I'm not guilty of.
Sign the ticket.
That's what you're trying to make me say?
Sign the ticket.
See there, like, I think that this is a really important part. of this whole interaction. Because the argument being made here is that this officer, Kimbrough, they're saying that this man was given plenty of opportunity to sign the ticket and that he understood what he was supposed to do. And that is what led to what is about to happen. But listen to this question that he asks as they're discussing the ticket.
I'm not guilty.
Sign the ticket.
That's what you're trying to make me say?
He said, "Is that what you're trying to make me say?" He's clearly articulating to the officer that he doesn't understand why he needs to sign this ticket. And this officer has not explained that to him thoroughly at all. He ran through the protocol, like, yeah, you got to sign the ticket, you got to appear for court, there's not admission of guilt, blah, blah, blah. Most people don't fucking understand that. They don't know what the fuck you're talking about when you say all that shit. You have to explain it to them in a way that's understandable and digestible to the person that you're talking to. Obviously, this man did not understand what the implications of signing this ticket were, or that he was even lawfully required to do it. Bear that in mind as you watch what's about to unfold.
Sign the ticket.
Okay, I'm gonna sign the ticket. I'm gonna sign the ticket. I'm gonna sign the ticket.
And then he just clearly admitted, again, I will sign the ticket. He's saying, I will sign the ticket.
Sign the ticket.
I'm not guilty.
Sign the ticket.
That's what you're trying to make me say?
Sign the ticket.
Okay, I'm gonna sign the ticket. I'm gonna sign the ticket. I'm gonna sign the ticket.
Sign the ticket. Sign the ticket.
Well, that's strange. I didn't hear the lawyer say anything about the use of force that was applied to force Mr. Holman to sign the traffic citation. Kimbrough grabs his arm and attempts to force him to sign the ticket. But that's conveniently left out of this testimony by this lawyer who is defending Kieran Kimbrough. He said Mr. Holman was yelling when Kimbrough first arrived on scene, but as you just witnessed, that is a lie. In fact, Mr. Holman was actually quite calm. But we'll continue on because you will witness this attorney acting in bad faith, making things up, leaving out important details. One of those important details is the life of a man who did nothing wrong.
How can I sign things you got me out like that?
You're acting crazy.
I'm not doing nothing.
Give me your arm.
I'm right here.
Give me your arm. Give me your arm.
My body already hurt, man.
All right.
I'm
Find me another unit. Sign it. That's on the ground.
I'm feeling something. What you doing like that? I ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing nothing, sir. Why you hurt me like this, man? I'm an old man.
I'm not right away. Sign the ticket. I'm gonna change you. Put your arms behind you.
He's still yelling for him to sign the ticket while he's literally on his back with him on the ground. I'm not sure if this cop even knows what the fuck is going on at this point.
Back now. Put your arms behind your back. Put your arms behind your back.
I am making up real bad, sir. I am making up real bad, please. I'm gonna get help. Give me help.
Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
That's the reality of what Kieran, and it's Kieran Kimbrough, that's the reality of what he was dealing with. Not something in a comfy office in Atlanta Police Headquarters on a dark street at 2 a.m, dealing with multiple people on the road, with a man who is escalating. People are afraid of him. And now he is refusing to sign a ticket.
I love all of this being put together, just debunking the bullshit of the supervillain right here and now. He didn't have to narrate. He didn't have to do anything. Just showing you for yourself all the bullshit. God, props to you, Billy.
People are afraid of him. And now he is refusing to sign a ticket.
Put your hands behind your back.
I can't breathe.
Put your hands behind your back.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Put your hands behind your back.
I can't breathe.
Put your hands behind your back.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Let me just say, I fully believe that this man, look, they say if you can talk, you can breathe. That's fucking nonsense. Like, yes, you require air to be able to talk, but you can exasperate yourself trying to express a message and also not be able to breathe enough to continue circulating blood through your body. This is an old man who already had a pre-existing heart condition, which, granted, the officer didn't know that at the time, but just look at this man. Do you really think that he's lying about this? Not only that, but I believe this guy was a pastor. But the point is, like, this is an old man. If he's saying he can't breathe, it's probably best to give him the deference, give him the benefit of the doubt, and not just assume that you're not killing a man. He's a deacon. That's right, deacon. Thank you for the clarification. Regardless, an upstanding member of society.
I'm gonna tell your ass one more time. Put your ass behind your back.
Help me! Somebody help me! Come on, man.
At this point, he's experiencing a medical emergency. You can't see this, but right now, he is experiencing a medical emergency. I'm sure that has dominated his train of thinking right now. He's not thinking, I'm involved in a physical altercation with a police officer. His mind shift has largely shifted to complete panic, thinking, I might be about to die.
Don't change me. Put your ass behind your back.
Okay.
Now.
Okay, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Let go of me. Put your ass behind your back. Put your ass behind your back now. Put your ass behind your back.
I don't know if you can tell, but he's not resisting anymore. He's not doing anything. He's probably in the middle of a cardiac episode right now.
Put your ass behind your back now.
Are you coming?
Put your ass behind your back now.
This dumbass is so caught up in the moment, he don't even realize that this man is unconscious.
Let me get my cuffs. Let me get my cuffs. Dude, this shit is so long.
Let me just say this for all of you who may be involved in, don't ever help a cop. Don't ever help a cop when they obviously don't need it, especially. There are some laws on the books that require citizens to take up a duty to care, but there's so much liability in that you could easily defeat any charge that is with that. I'm sure, and I haven't made it to the end of this video yet, but I'm sure that tow truck driver is going to be liable for what happened here, for getting himself involved. Don't get yourself involved in a police interaction. Stay the fuck out of it. Especially if you have no fucking idea what was going on. The tow truck driver was dropped from the lawsuit, but regardless, he was originally named. That's the point, is there is liability and risk there. If you go into and try to help a police officer and you exert force on someone, and then it turns out that whole interaction was unlawful, guess what? You're going to be on the hook for that shit too. You don't just get a free pass, and you don't have qualified immunity. Think about that before you jump in to help somebody like that.
104 radio.
1104, go ahead.
20T. Start me supervisor for use of force, please. Start Grady as well.
And what's really interesting, 2 points that are just mind-boggling. Number one, they're telling you they terminated him because somehow this failure to follow a policy and call a supervisor led to Mr. Holman's death. Well, that's so critical that it caused his death that they exonerated him of every use of force allegation against him. I want you to sit and think a second. He threw him to the ground. He used force. He was punched. He used a taser. He threatened to use the taser. He ordered Mr. Holman to the ground. He pushed him to the ground. All of that was exonerated. We have no problems with what he did. How many times did the city attorney jump up and down when anybody tried to remind you of the fact that he was exonerated on the use of force? How do you say he's exonerated on use of force, but we have to fire him because someone died? and because it caused his death. Not calling a supervisor prior to a detention didn't cause anybody to die. That is a logical, asinine inconsistency.
Oh, isn't it? So is the exoneration of this use of force. That is a logical, asinine conclusion. I don't give a fuck who, like, what department investigated themselves and found no wrongdoing. I mean, I get why he's saying that. Don't get me wrong. This guy's putting on a fucking a case for his client. But man, fuck you for even saying some shit like that. Like, the original use of force was fucking bullshit. And the fact that the department cleared itself of wrongdoing can be used as evidence that nothing wrong happened here is kind of fucking ridiculous. This is why we need independent parties to do these internal investigations. We need to stop letting departments investigate themselves. It'd be nice, and this is just my whimsical fantasy, but please indulge me here. I think maybe we should consider abolishing the DEA and instead establishing some sort of federal framework of an enforcement force that just makes sure that all of the departments are handling their internal affairs correctly. I would prefer my tax dollars to go to that instead of the fucking DEA, who are out here basically doing nothing, enforcing big nothing crimes, perpetuating a giant money circle. I'm going to go out on a conspiracy limb here, who are very likely the whole reason that we even have a black market drug market. It's just because of the DEA. So why don't we just delete the law enforcement authorities that we don't actually fucking need and create some that would be useful to the people that live in this country? I don't know. Maybe I'm just going crazy.
And I've been listening to it for 17 months. I have watched this young officer go through death threats, have to move, have his family have death threats, because everybody wanted someone to blame. The 7 officers...
Who else would they blame, Lance? Who the fuck else would they blame? Don't blame the murderer. Don't blame the person who murdered your family member. The
officers who failed to render aid, who were found to have violated the policy, that was reversed by Chief Tyus. And Chief Tyus...
No way. You mean a police chief defended his officers blindly even though there's clear evidence of an unlawful use of force? Wow. Shocker. That should definitely be something that we include as an irrevocable piece of evidence for this man's innocence, right? The quality of that evidence couldn't get any higher.
Who told this officer, you're fine, you're good, I've seen the video, and you're good, knowing that Mr. Holman died, suddenly makes a reversal. Here's another very interesting critical point for you. The whole gravamen of this policy is that he failed to call a supervisor. And none of the 2 witness deputy chief could tell you where the supervisors were. They don't even know how many supervisors were working that night. I spent a lot of time in patrol cars. You know, one thing you do know is how many supervisors are around and where they are. And are they tied up? Are they across town? You know exactly how long it'll take them to respond.
Now, how is that relevant in you making law enforcement decisions? Just because you know it's going to take a while is not an excuse for you to sidestep protocol or policy. This guy's basically saying, oh, he knew that the supervisor would take forever to get there, so he didn't call him. Okay. How is that a legitimate excuse? You mean to tell me that he just didn't have time for that? Is that what you're arguing here? Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Chief Tyus, how many supervisors were on duty? Not sure. Chief Shearbaum, I don't know. I'd have to check the logs. Isn't that a critical point? If this young officer recognized that this call has already been holding, that people are saying this guy's threatening me.
Despite claims that Mr. Holman was threatening or possessed guns or drugs, no such evidence appears in any official record, incident report, internal affairs investigation, or body camera transcript. Officer Kimbrough consistently stated that his decision to use force was based on Mr. Holman's refusal to sign a citation and use of his phone, not any direct threat or evidence of contraband. The record does not show that Mr. Holman ever threatened violence or that any weapons or drugs were recovered. And I'm sorry, I can't read today. But Okay, there we go.
Other people on the scene didn't have a problem. They've got involved in a wreck.
That he's acting
High quality
unreasonably
editing.
and putting people in danger. And then he knows he has one lieutenant working, and it's going to be a while for someone to get there. And he makes a decision. The guy's not going to sign the ticket. I'm going to detain him, put him in the backseat of the car for everybody's safety. Look at those cases. He can detain him. He can put him in handcuffs. He can put him in the back of a car for everyone's safety, including his own, well within his rights. That policy.
Not rights, authority, first of all. Secondly, we talked about this in the last stream. There is this thing called the objective reasonableness standard, where the amount of force applied needs to be proportionate to the amount of resistance you're receiving. Let's just set aside the protocol and law and bullshit about this and just talk about the practical aspects of this. At what point did anyone become a threat? At what point was there a legitimate justification for beating up this old man, for tasing him? If he had just tried to reason with him at any point, if he had just made the effort to use words to express what is going on, if he had clearly stated what the repercussions for not signing this ticket were in a way that this man could understand it, then this interaction probably would have went a completely different direction. They're focusing a lot on the actual use of force, which I still think was unjustified, but completely throwing out how we even ended up there to that point in the first place.
Policy is crystal clear. They cannot arrest, but they can certainly detain. He did not violate the policy. And with all due respect, if he didn't violate the policy, you have no choice other than to reverse and grant him his back pay. That is the purpose of this board.
Supervisor copy. 1191 I copy.
Apologies,
Turn him, Rob.
Sit up, man. Ray, yo, step it up. This guy's bleeding pretty bad. Put his hands behind his back. He started resisting. Took him to the ground and stuff. And he started grabbing my hand like he was going to hit me.
He never said, "I'm placing you under arrest." As a matter of fact, when he was on top of him trying to handcuff him, he was still telling him to sign the ticket. This guy was never officially told, "Hey, you're under arrest." He as far as he knew, on the ground with the cop on his back, he just still wanted him to sign the ticket. And then he tries to claim that the guy tried to hit him and justify the punch in the... Dude, he was on full mount with the guy on his back. The dude who was on his belly. How is he going to punch a guy behind him on his back? Doesn't make any sense.
So I punched him a couple times. Just tased him. Then he put him in cuffs. I don't know what's going on with him now. He's still breathing, though. Okay.
I ain't did this shit in so long. God damn.
I don't know if he's still breathing, dude.
Where you tased him at? An arm. An arm? Yeah.
Personnel come, flight location, driveway, 8 years.
Yeah. And I saw that you listened very, very carefully to this evidence. And I want to go back to one of the chairman's questions early on. This notion that the chief can change his determination. We've heard it 100 times. Okay, the chief can make a determination based on what?
How are you going to make that argument and then your main point of evidence be that the use of force was justified? So you're saying that, the chief's opinion doesn't mean anything until he cleared the use of force. That matters, but all of his other opinions don't matter. This is disingenuous arguments from this attorney. This is why I'm saying he's like a fucking supervillain.
Look at the evidence that you saw. And it's evidence. It's not somebody's opinion. The evidence that was deduced from professional investigators that led to their decision to be exonerated on use of force and not sustained on the policy he was ultimately terminated for. And the chairman asked a very interesting question of the chief, and I believe you asked it of the deputy chief as well. Where is your documentation? Where is your written explanation of why you went against that? It's called arbitrary and capricious. It's called pulling things out of whole cloth. It's called the media is crawling all over us. Somebody's got to pay for the fact that we're getting beaten up in the press.
Oh, no. It couldn't be that you just murdered an innocent man. That couldn't be the reason why people are criticizing this officer's actions. It's got to be the media narrative. Because just no one gives a shit about Mr. Holman. No one gives a fuck about him, apparently. And Russ is, I mean, this guy, he looks frustrated. I gotta say, he looks aggravated.
I hate that. I hate saying it. But one thing that you will hear very clearly, and you can watch that video again, when I went through the facts of the case, there was a correlation between the policy violation and the outcome, and nobody has shown you a single correlation with Mr. Holman's death and the failure to call a supervisor before he detained Mr. Holman. This has been called a critical directive. In fact, it's so critical, nobody's ever been terminated for it before. OPS based their terminations on evidence. And we were warned, don't pay attention to that state law thing.
Don't pay attention to that state law thing.
Oh, and by the way, there's a lot of stuff that's distracting. Don't pay attention to the gun that was in the car or the drugs that were in the car.
Again, now he's just blatantly lying. And Billy calling him out here. Nowhere did it ever say any of that. That there was a gun, no drugs, and that he was not acting crazy. He's just literally making shit up at this point.
Grandson claimed, Chief Chai is very quick. Oh no, his grandson claimed the car. Did he claim the drugs too? I bet you he didn't. A law enforcement officer ought to be able to walk up to someone and say, sir, calm down. It's a traffic wreck. Don't mix with people. Don't get angry. Calm down. Stop yelling at people. And when they fail to do that, it's disorderly conduct. He probably could have arrested him. But he clearly, on those cases I gave you, 70 years of case law I provided you. He can detain him for his safety and everyone else's safety. He can use force to do it.
Billy.
He can put him in handcuffs. And there's one thing that Mr. Holman cannot do, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. When the officer says, sir, I'm going to detain you, put your hands behind your back, do you know what he lawfully can do? Comply. That's it.
Yeah, except the officer never said that. He never said, I'm detaining you. He never said, you're under arrest. He said, sign the ticket and give me your hands. Those are the things he said. I love this animation here. This guy eats boots for breakfast. He lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes boots. He's the boot-licking supervillain. He's King Bootlicker.
He can't struggle. He can't fight. He can't punch the officer in the face and break his lip open. Can't do any of that. Mr. Holman would be alive if he complied with the lawful orders of a law enforcement officer. And I'm glad you're giving us an opportunity, because the mountain of information I'm going to give you on the fact that tasers do not cause someone to die like this will probably be overwhelming for you, and I will try to.
Oh, I would love to see all the evidence suggesting that being electrocuted has no effect on your heart. Please show me the scientific evidence for that conclusion. Because yeah, sure, Axon can go and have studies done all day long that, prove the efficacy of a taser. But please show me where it is objectively true that in science, being electrocuted has no effect on your heart. It's just, that's so stupid.
To pare it down. The application of the taser was 1 second. When you hear on the video and you hear the multiple taser warnings, look back at the OPS warning, the OPS investigation. Those were warnings. Those are called ARCs. If you don't comply, I'm going to push the taser onto you. Those are not taser applications.
I bet this guy was a real fucking piece of shit cop. Just look at his fucking stupid face.
1 second on the back of the left.
It does. Okay, first of all, I believe it was more than 1 second that he got tased. And secondly, it only takes 1 second when you're already in the middle of a cardiac episode that was created by your officer. That's all it would take. His heart's already freaking out. One little jolt to set it off in a rhythmic balance, and there you go. He's dead. It's fucking crazy. This is like the mental gymnastics Olympics or something.
Left arm. The cart's before the horse. The city has to prove a violation to start with before they can say the outcome was terrible, so we're going to increase the penalty for the violation. There is no tragic outcome exception in this policy. Well, yeah, it's a not a violation, but yeah, something bad happened, so someone's going to have a problem. He wasn't fired for excessive force. He wasn't fired for being rude. He was fired for detaining someone while he was waiting for a supervisor to get there.
What a characterization. You know what I mean?
And this notion that he never called for a supervisor, listen, I mean, it's amazing. Right after he goes down on the ground, right after he gets him into custody, he said, radio, I need a supervisor for a use of force and start Grady.
Man, oh man. Let me just say this. The incident report, the narrative, IA investigation, none of that mentions drugs or a gun in a vehicle. None of it mentions Mr. Holman was yelling and screaming when Kieran Kimbrough arrived on scene. In fact, body cam shows that Mr. Holman was actually fairly calm. Kieran Kimbrough only radioed for a supervisor after he realized the damage that he had done, the excessive force he used. I didn't hear Lance LaRusso say anything about Kieran Kimbrough grabbing Mr. Holman's arm and forcing him to sign the ticket. Nope, didn't hear a damn thing about that.
Damn right, Billy.
In fact, I haven't heard much about the loss of life here. I haven't heard anything about compassion. I haven't heard anything about the fact that the medical examiner's office in Fulton County labeled this as a homicide. I also haven't heard anything about Kieran Kimbrough being charged with murder. But I've heard a lot of lies from this lawyer. I'm actually shocked that he is still licensed to practice law in the state of Georgia. I personally will be writing a letter to the Georgia State Bar with reference.
And I guarantee you that Billy did fucking write that letter too.
From his testimony in this video and the body cam and the IA investigation, which you can read on lamecops.com. You can read the full IA investigation and you can see for yourself. After you watch the body cam and read the internal affairs investigation that took place behind this, you will find out this lawyer is telling a lot of fucking lies, man, on video that he published on his YouTube.
So I want to say this real quick for those of you who don't know this. Not only does Billy make videos about all of these interactions, but then he sets up a domain, or he has several domains where he then posts like a full rundown of exactly everything that happened and all the points and stuff like that that he managed to figure out along the way. Everything that you would need to know about this right here in one place. If you ever wanted to dive into this, I mean, this is just one interaction. Everything you just saw there was just this one interaction. All this stuff. So yeah, it's like I said, Billy's work is so much deeper than people really realize. And this kind of shit right here is insanely thorough. And just, I can't say enough good things about it. There, please go subscribe to this channel if you guys haven't already.
YouTube channel with the comments turned off so no one can criticize or challenge him on the bullshit that he's telling in this testimony. Let me make one thing perfectly clear, y'all. He's trying to boil this down to some type of policy and administrative issue when the reality is it's a criminal matter. We are talking about a homicide of a senior citizen by a police officer that is free today. Out of the thousands of cases that I've reviewed and I've made videos on, this is one of the most cold-hearted, most callous attorneys I've ever run across. Not only attorney, but the cop involved is absolutely cold-hearted. And this is going to haunt him for the rest of his life because he made a bad decision.
I hope it does.
When all he had to do was just give the man the ticket, go on about your fucking night, man. And for this cop to escalate to the point that he did is absolutely pointless. So we're almost at the end of this interaction in this video. I want to leave you all with this. Make sure you film them. If you have an interaction with a cop, no matter how minor you think it is, they will escalate it to a point of no return. And don't record it. You may not be lucky and have the body cam surface on the internet where people can see exactly what happened. Like in the case of Mr. Holman.
The only person who made an effort to get medical treatment for Mr. Holman was fired. 7 officers who did not. Chief Tyus exonerated. This is exactly why people are not going into police work. And this young officer deserves to be put back on the street, deserves to be reinstated with his back pay, and never deserve to be treated like this. And that's exactly what I'm asking you to do.
The family has been fighting for this officer to face charges for the death of their loved one. You may recall this story, but earlier this month, the board denied Kimbrough's appeal to get his job back. So they found that Kimbrough violated the Atlanta Police Department's standard operating procedure, saying that because Holloman was not a flight risk or not a danger, that he should have waited for a supervisor to arrive before arresting Holloman. So Holloman was tased by Kimbrough during that traffic stop. This was back in 2023. Kimbrough was ultimately fired from the Atlanta Police Department the following October. The family continues to fight for charges to be filed against that officer.
I'm optimistic and I'm hopeful. I've prayed about it. I've talked to God about it. I know charges are going to be brought. I know we're going to see justice.
And the city of Atlanta agreed to settle with the family for $3.8 million. Again, family and legal representatives.
$3.8 million settlement out of this. I have mixed feelings about that. One, I'm glad that the family received some sort of compensation. Is a man's life worth $4 million? I don't think so. And I understand that, going to trial, you're putting a lot at risk by doing that. But I just want to make the point that I don't think that justice was served through this settlement. And there's no amount of money that's going to bring this man back to life. Settlements are such a bittersweet thing. Because yes, I want the people who are affected by the police misconduct to receive compensation for whatever they have to go through. But at the same time, I want the police to be held accountable. I want change to be made. Real, legitimate change. So that this doesn't happen to other people. And we don't just continue this cycle of people getting hurt by the police and then just paying them off. And then nothing ever changes. And then they just go and murder the next deacon. I hate that. What is the average payout for wrongful death at the hands of police? There's probably not an average. The payouts were probably so wildly different across the board. It largely depends on what happens with the case. Not just, the manner in which they die, but like whether or not there's a settlement or whether it's taken all the way through. Like, for example, in George Floyd's case, there was like $40 million, I believe, won on his behalf. And in the case of Randy Cox, which we covered on ATA, the biggest lawsuit ever was like $45 million. But then you have this here being settled for $4 million. So you can see the discrepancy. There's probably not really a good way to come to an average for those kind of figures. BioSpark says, part of me feels like if it was one of my family members that died like that, I'd prefer that the officer go to prison over the money. And I think that there's a lot of people who would agree with that. I probably would feel that way too. Granted, I'm a little bit biased because I have a passion related to this topic. And obviously I'm not like, starving or hurting for money in any way. So, when you're in a position like that, there's probably a lot of factors that go into your decision on whether or not to take a settlement. And yeah, that's a good point, BioSpark. They're literally paying them off with other people's money. Your money, his money.